disturbing that is to me.
Who said that?
I can't tell you. He knows who he is.
It all started when Don Charles spoke up with no holding back. He didn't just talk about how Dubois fought, he talked about the kind of person Dubois showed himself to be in the ring. Don said he won't work with someone who gives up. After the way Dubois went down in the fight with Usyk, Don said he's finished with him. He felt Dubois let down true fighters and didn't show the heart boxing needs. But that wasn't the end. Soon after, Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren came in too, and they had some strong things to say of their own.
I get something wrong. When I get my job wrong, I get the sack. I get sacked. I get fired.
Don Charles was treated badly by Dubois and his father, but now things have turned around. He's having the last laugh while the boxing world watches. Even Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren didn't hold back. They called the whole situation a mess. Dubois didn't just lose the fight, he froze when it mattered most, got embarrassed in front of everyone, and then pointed fingers at others. That wasn't just a loss, it was a beating he won't forget.
And Dubois, Daniel Dubois' father, and Don Charles have had a massive fallout, and he won't be in the corner.
Absolute, complete and utter rubbish, but absolute and utter garbage.
Honestly, nothing really. People keep talking about if Daniel will deal with the occasion, the emotion, the trainers, the dad. It don't matter. He's going to make a load of mistakes, but he's going to be really dangerous. If he had no trainer, if it was just him and his dad, I think it would be the same.
Don Charles didn't hold back. He tore into Dubois like never before. He said Dubois is like a chameleon, always hiding behind fake emotions and pretending to be someone he's not. According to Don, it was all an act. The drama, the tears, the image. None of it was real. And after that crushing defeat, the mask is off. The truth is out, and there's no hiding now.
Because I said, this man's like a chameleon. Changes colors to fit in within, infiltrate his environment. He knows that will sustain. All that acting, games and that, he uses it as a smoke screen to cover what's actually really going on. I'm not going to elaborate.
Even Gareth A. Davies was shocked when Don Charles walked away, and that says a lot. They had been together for years, so this wasn't just about losing a fight. It was deeper. Don didn't just leave because Dubois lost. He left because he saw something he couldn't stand, a fighter who gave up, faked emotions, and blamed everyone else. When a loyal trainer like Don walks away, it's not just a split, it's a full-on rejection.
Yes, I did think it was a certain shock in some ways because they've been together so long and you're used to them being together.
Even Gareth admits it. Something just doesn't add up. For Don Charles to walk away from someone he worked with for years, Dubois must have crossed a serious line. Maybe it was betrayal. Maybe it was pure weakness. But whatever it was, Don had seen enough, and no amount of money talk can cover the truth. Dubois simply wasn't worth standing beside anymore.
What I thought straight away, more could come out. They might have fallen out over something, I don't know. But it's not likely because they get on so well. People will say, oh, is that disloyal of the fighter? But this is a money business.
And Frank Warren poured even more fuel on the fire, revealing just how broken things really were behind the scenes. According to him, this split didn't happen overnight. It had been building for years. Constant tension, arguments, and a team walking on eggshells. And right in the middle of it all, Dubois, crumbling mentally and physically. Frank didn't spell it out word for word, but the message is clear. Dubois was already falling apart long before Usyk delivered the final blow.
Times over the years where, for various reasons, you get pissed off or you don't argue anything. Yeah, that's happened in
Adola's tone gave everything away. He tried to play it neutral, but the shock in his voice told the real story. This wasn't just a coach and fighter having a disagreement. This was the collapse of a carefully built illusion. Dubois didn't just lose in the ring, he lost something deeper. Don Charles's respect, his team's trust, and the fans' belief. Don didn't walk because of a bad strategy. He walked because he saw through the cracks, saw a fighter who folded under pressure, who couldn't take tough words, and who simply couldn't be counted on when it mattered most. Even when 80 tried to downplay it, the silence between his words said it all. Insiders were stunned at how fast Dubois unraveled. One hard night, and everything fell apart. That's not misfortune. That's hype with no heart. And just when it seemed like it couldn't get worse, Dubois' own sister turned her back on him after the Usyk fight. That's not just a loss, that's a complete fall from grace.
There always seems to be issues with fighters and managers. It just seems to be part of the course. But I don't think it's that with these two. I don't. I'd love to kind of like give you the reasons as to why, and I've made a phone call and I know the answers, but honestly, I don't. It does surprise me.
This was the moment everything truly fell apart, when your own blood turns on you. There's no coming back. Caroline Dubois, a talented fighter in her own right, didn't hold back. She called her brother's performance exactly what it was: embarrassing, heartless, and flat out shameful. No pride, no fight, just a man who quit when things got too real. She cut through all the noise, the fake body shot drama, the post-fight excuses, and said what fans were already thinking. Daniel Dubois doesn't have the heart of a true fighter. And when your own sister, someone who trained beside you, sacrificed with you, and carries your name, calls you a disgrace, that's not just criticism. That's a knockout to the soul. You can lose a fight and still keep your dignity, but when your family disowns your effort in front of the world, you've lost everything. And if that wasn't brutal enough, Dave Allen stepped in, and what he said next was a verbal knockout heard across boxing.
There's no pretend, the man is supremely talented, but time and season is everything in the sport.
Dave Allen didn't hold back. He came in swinging and hit the truth dead on. What he saw and what millions of fans saw wasn't a knockout, it was a walkout. Dubois stood up without a wobble, without panic, without pain. He looked like a man strolling through a park, not someone in the middle of a war. That wasn't grit, it was retreat. And Dave's line about the quit committee, it stung because it was real. Dubois didn't go out on his shield, he backed out again. That's the pattern now. Pressure hits, and instead of pushing through, he pulls away. And that's not just a bad night, that's a reputation killer. In boxing, quitting sticks, it stains you, and it doesn't fade. Dave Allen said what others are too polite to say. Dubois has a quitting problem, and at the elite level, that's the end of the road. Then came Boley, no gloves, no filter, and he dragged Dubois through the mud, making sure the world didn't miss a single flaw.
Out of 10, and he walked straight past Usyk, straight to the corner, he was completely fine. I think, and you know what, it's horrific to say I've quit. It's not horrific to say I'm quit. I'm chairman of the quit committee. I'm top quitter, I guess. Anyway, he quit, yeah, he did.
And honestly, he was spot on. He called it before the bell. Dubois wouldn't last 5 rounds. And guess what? He didn't. But Belly didn't just throw shade. He exposed the deeper issue. Dubois isn't evolving. No jab, no adjustments, no fire to grow. Just the same predictable game plan over and over until someone drops him. And Bach, he took it a step further, said Dubois deserved that beating. Why? Because he brought nothing new, just recycled hype, weak resolve, and fake toughness. Meanwhile, Usyk's out here making history, taking names, and clearing out divisions. Dubois, he's collecting checks and stacking losses. Cole calling him out wasn't hate. It was the truth, speaking loud. Dubois isn't scary, he's solved. Fighters don't fear him, they study him. Wait for that mental switch to flip off, then finish the job. Easy money. And to top it off, even Bach switched from tearing Dubois apart to praising Usyk like a machine, because that's the level Dubois couldn't touch.
I said before the fight, even today, before today, that Daniel Dubois would never pass 5 rounds if he kept boxing like the same way he boxed last time he fought Usyk. But he did the same. There was no jab, nothing changed. He deserved the knockout because he never changed something like he's supposed to.
But the moment Coley started talking about Usyk, everything changed. The sarcasm vanished. The trolling stopped. What came next was straight up respect, almost awe, and that shift alone said it all. While Dubois crumbled under the spotlight, Usyk thrived in it. Coley didn't just call him good, he called him a machine. Cold, calculated, untouchable. Usyk didn't even break a sweat dismantling Dubois. No panic, no rush, just clinical dominance. And when a serious threat like Bakoli gives that kind of praise, you know it's real. It wasn't hype, it was a reality check. Dubois looked like he didn't even belong in that ring. He wasn't ready. Not mentally, not physically, not even close. All that noise about the body shot, the controversy, the what ifs, none of it mattered because when it came down to it, Usyk was on a completely different level. While Usyk's building a legacy, Dubois is out here building excuses. And in Bakoli's view, that's not up for debate.
The best for right now, for our this moment now is the best. Retire or keep fighting. He done away, he done amazing. This guy is a machine, so it's the best right now, to be honest. So he's still undefeated.
Johnny Nelson didn't hold back. He dissected Dubois piece by piece, mentality, skill set, fighting spirit, and left nothing untouched. According to Nelson, Dubois isn't just mentally fragile, he's technically hollow. No adaptability, no ring IQ, no backup plan when the first punch doesn't land. And worst of all, no fire. Nelson wasn't throwing shade, he was exposing a hard truth. Dubois fights like someone waiting for things to go wrong, and when they do, he disappears. It's a devastating indictment coming from someone who's seen champions rise and pretenders fade. Nelson's breakdown echoed everything Bellew said, but sharper, colder. To him, Dubois isn't evolving, he's regressing. One-dimensional offense, zero defensive instincts, and a heart that folds under pressure. That's not a heavyweight on the rise. That's a fighter circling the drain. Together, Bellew and Nelson delivered a final verdict that's hard to argue with. Daniel Dubois has the body of a fighter, but not the soul. And in boxing, that gap is fatal.
One decent body shot the whole fight, to which Usyk tapped his belly and just said, "What was that?" And then there was zero else coming back. And that's, in my opinion, that's the attitude and that's the mentality of a guy that when the going gets tough, he doesn't want to fight. And he can never change that.
This was the final nail, and Johnny Nelson hammered it in with surgical precision. Usyk didn't beat Dubois in a war. He unmade him in a master class. Nelson described a systematic breakdown, every layer of Dubois' so-called strength. His jab, his size, his power was peeled away like it never existed. Usyk didn't need drama. He didn't need controversy. He just exposed the truth. Dubois had no answers, no plan B, no fight in him. By round 5, he wasn't a contender. He was a passenger, sitting on the canvas, lost, waiting for the final bell to end the embarrassment. Nelson's tone was ice cold because the performance deserved it. Usyk stayed composed and elegant, never even needing to push into top gear, while Dubois unraveled with every passing second. And when it was over, Usyk stood tall, a champion in every sense, while Dubois looked like a man robbed of purpose, not just a fight. This wasn't about skill alone, it was about spirit. And in that ring, Daniel Dubois had none. As Johnny Nelson made brutally clear, when your identity as a fighter gets dismantled so thoroughly that even you stop believing in it, that's not a loss, that's an erasure.
What he did to Daniel, it took away everything, all his attributes. He took away his jab, took away his power, took away his movement, took away his confidence, to the point where Daniel was putting his backside on the floor thinking, wow, you know, we're only in round 5 here and I'm getting chopped up. This guy...
Get over. This wasn't just a defeat, it was a reckoning. Daniel Dubois' collapse has become a cautionary tale in modern boxing. Not because he lost to a generational talent like Usyk, that happens, but because of how he lost. The passiveness, the mental checkout, the avalanche of criticism from voices that once stood beside him. When even your own corner walks away and your family goes silent, it's not just a bad night, it's a legacy fracture. Don Charles didn't leave quietly. He walked out as if washing his hands of something deeper. Gareth Davies, always measured, hinted at long-standing issues. Caroline Dubois, she didn't defend her brother, she exposed him. And that silence from the once cheering promoters and trainers? Deafening. Dubois was built on raw power, but boxing is more than punches. It's pain, pressure, and pushing past your own limits. Usyk lives in that space. Dubois crumbled in it. Now the sport moves on. Usyk climbs higher. Joyce and Joshua circle. Fury looms. And Dubois? He's on the outside looking in. Mocked, forgotten, fading. But maybe, just maybe, there's still a path back. It won't come from hype or matchmaking. It'll come from something deeper, painful reinvention, quiet hard work, and a heart we've yet to truly see. So we ask you, does Dubois have that fire left? Or was this the final chapter in a story that promised more than it ever delivered? Let us know in the comments, because redemption is rare, but when it happens, it shakes the world.